Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke Wednesdays in Real Estate. I'm Sean LaRue with Franklin Loan Center. I'm having a great day and I hope you are too. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about homeowners associations. You know, there are a lot of properties that are in gated communities or condos that have homeowners associations. We're going to be talking a little bit about what is included. What are some of the benefits and some of the disadvantages of getting pre-approved in an HOA? And if you're an FHA or a VA buyer, we'll need to make sure that we have the condo approval for FHA and VA as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Alright, so on this episode we're talking about homeowners associations, some of the benefits and some of the disadvantages of being in a gated community. A homeowners association, or for this video we'll call them an HOA, is an organization that actually makes and enforces the rules of the community and the property where you're purchasing. If you're within an HOA, typically you're required to pay membership dues or a monthly assessment. And some associations are very particular about what they do allow to happen within the property, within their guidelines, how it's set up, the rules and regulations, so that you can actually conform to the neighborhood and the community that you're purchasing in. For many associations, you have to be a member, but pretty much most of the time you're going to be an owner of the property, which automatically makes you a member of the association. So it's super easy, and you communicate directly with the management company for the HOA. So there's a set of documents that you receive when you're purchasing a property within an HOA or a gated community, and this includes the CC&Rs, the declarations of covenants, conditions, and restrictions. And this is the specific conditions of the property, the specific rules and regulations that you need to adhere to as a new homeowner to conform within the community that you're purchasing. You'll also get a copy of the bylaws, some insurance, the budget, the balance sheet, and some of that financial information as well to make sure that the association that you're purchasing in has good financials, they're strong, they've got great reserves, and they're going to be healthy for the long term. So some of the conditions that we see that the HOA is very particular about, it's a lot of structural restrictions such as the fences or the landscaping that's actually allowed by the property. Minor selections such as paint. I know at one of our properties there's a big painting thing where everybody's got to conform to the paint colors, and when you actually apply or want to do more paint, you actually got to go through the architectural committee, submit an application to get the color selection approved by the architectural committee of the homeowners association board of directors, and then they'll approve the paint scheme and the colors and all of that to make sure that you're conforming with the neighborhood. You don't want to just go out and paint, spend the money if it's wrong, because the board of directors or the HOA members might actually require you to change the paint out or change it to make sure that you're within the guidelines of the colors for the community. So it's a really big thing. Make sure when you're doing any changes to the property at all, you're actually going through the application process with the board of directors of the HOA. The documents you receive will also outline any penalties or fee escalation for any violation of the codes, covenants, and any restrictions put on you as a homeowner, so that you're aware that if you violate any of these issues with the community, you know exactly what the penalties might be, fines assessed or imposed with it, so that you make sure that you're performing and you're staying within all of those requirements right off the bat, so that you don't have any of those penalties or fines. So just be aware of all of the requirements and make sure that if you're doing something that's not very standard in the community, that you're getting approval by the architectural committee for your plans, because you don't want to spend a bunch of money on these things and then find out that you need to change it or it needs to be done a different way, and then you have to spend the money again. So that should help you guys out a little bit. So typically what you're doing with an HOA, you're paying a monthly assessment or monthly HOA dues to share in the common areas, the common structures, the common amenities and benefits that you get as a result of living in that community. So, for some of them, you'll have parks or tennis courts, golf courses or clubhouses, elevators, swimming pools. There's a lot of different common areas that the HOA actually fixes or maintains, not just in a gated community on single family homes, but also condo developments as well. So you're paying anywhere from $85 to $450 a month. That's on the low end for kind of standard HOA fees. If you're getting golf memberships or clubhouse options, you're going to probably pay a slightly higher monthly fee depending on the community that you're in. Let's just use that as an example. So, $85 to $450 a month. You're paying into that every month so that the common areas will be maintained and totally up to standard and kept for you guys, just like it will be in the condition of the property when you purchased it. So again, the HOA dues, they contribute to the reserve requirements for the association. There's an operating budget that pays out for landscaping and maintenance and some other things that the community as a whole, they have expenses, so your dues pay for covering those expenses, and all the money goes into the pot. There's a balance sheet and all the expenses are paid out from there as well. The reserve fund pays for any unforeseen issues, delinquency payments for homeowners who aren't making their payments on time. The reserve fund helps for major projects that come up either once a year, every couple years. The slurry seal in the parking lots need to be redone every few years. We've got gates or arms or remotes that need to be fixed. All of the reserve funds kind of help to continue to maintain for some of these issues or emergencies or things like that. So, you want to make sure that you're paying your dues. There's certain assessments that are paid on top of that or separately from the monthly dues, but those are raised and voted on accordingly depending on what kind of money the association actually needs to raise for whatever project that they're actually working on at that time. So here are some of the advantages of living in an HOA, and HOAs can be really great because they set the standard of living in the community. It's a great opportunity to know that you and your neighbors are purchasing properties in a community that you like and enjoy, and you appreciate those amenities. The look and the feel of the community, how clean it is, how well maintained it is. It makes sure that everything is uniform with all the homeowners, and it keeps everybody in check to make sure that they're all conforming to the guidelines. There are also architectural guidelines and standards for the properties. So if the properties are being rehabbed or changed, typically the architectural committee will make sure that properties are still or continuing to stay like the other properties in the community, so that you're not taking like a Tuscan Field property and putting in a mid-mod property by changing the facade or the lines. You want to make sure that the properties are maintained and they're looking very standard to the other properties in the community. You don't want to change too many things when you're in a gated community. So what are some of the disadvantages of being in an HOA? Well, some of the big downsides of being part of an HOA is the high cost of the association fees, right? So typically they're going to be a little more expensive or add to your monthly payment every month. But we can budget that into your monthly principal, interest, tax, and insurance payment as well. Some of them are also very strict with their architectural committee. You know, if you have large RVs or have multiple vehicles, sometimes street parking or parking in your garage or in your driveway, if you have multiple properties, can be a concern or an issue if you need more space. Some developments allow street parking, some are very specific in how they're assigned to you as an owner of that space. So that's it. That's all I have for today on homeowners associations. You'll want to make sure that you read through the documents. They're disclosed to you prior to closing. I hope you found this information helpful. And if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, comment if you thought I missed something or if you think there's another great tip there for you. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Sean LaRue with Franklin Loan Center. I'm having a great day and I hope you are too. I hope you stay positive and stay hungry. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.